again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
Favorite time of the week. We're not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews in your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that mile high Broncos country.
Orange Weekly. Fans, brews, and Broncos news.
What is up, Broncos country, and welcome to another week of Orange Weekly After Dark. As usual, my name is Jason, and joining me again tonight is Kevin. I've cried more times than the Broncos got points, Dandino. And
very many times.
Well, you know, so. it's about average for you on a weekly basis anyways. And in a week where things went from bad to worse for the Broncos, hard, tough loss to not a great Colts team, and really putting the Broncos behind the 8-ball early into the season. Kevin, what did you see? What are your initial thoughts?
Oh, man. Just bad football, you know, and I mean, we've all heard the stories and seen the tweets, you know, from the Wade Phillips, you know, and stuff like that. So can't both teams just start punting the ball on first down? Like, this is terrible. You know, out of the whole thing, and I'm sure we'll talk about it tonight, somebody might bring it up, or I know I was one or the other. Out of all of that, the thing that stood out to me the most, overtime starting and the fans just pouring out of the stadium. I mean, obviously I stayed because that's what I do, but it doesn't matter how bad it would be, I would stay. But it was like overtime started. People weren't even, it wasn't even the thought. They're like, yeah, I'm out. I'm not dealing with this crap. You know, like that, I think that said way more than anything else that night.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a good look on any way angle you look at it. You know, maybe you can attribute some of it to being a Thursday night game. You know, people have work early and you know, on a Friday.
But what's a 10-minute overtime? You know, like,
well, you know, when you're watching the Broncos for that game, 10 minutes feels like an eternity. I mean, that was just bad football all over. And it's okay. So, you know, let's just get into this. You know, a lot of angry people this week, a lot of frustrations, everyone from fans to wide receivers. If you want to start naming specific names, go for it. I think we all know. And let's see. Hey, you guys want to ask your thoughts on Hackett having the second best betting odds at being fired this season? Well, so I mean, the rule, the Panthers coach actually just got fired today. So Hackett is no longer going to be the first to be fired this season. We'll get into this. It's an interesting question if Hackett is gone to the staff stay, or are they gone? That's an interesting thing with football too, where usually if the head coach is out, more times than not, the entire staff is out. Obviously there's whoever the new coach is, just generally speaking, they have the option to interview whoever was there before and keep them on if they want, but that's not always the case. And again, we'll just dive into this. So okay. Lots to break down. The general kind of argument point after a few days, initially it was all Russell Wilson, right? A lot of people pointing all the blame on Russell Wilson. This is Wilson's fault. 2 interceptions, yada, yada, yada. Now the narrative's kind of shifted a few days later where, okay, lots of offensive issues 5 weeks into the season. Who is the most? I don't think there's anyone arguing there's plenty of blame to be shared between Wilson, Hackett, receivers dropping balls, running backs fumbling balls. There's a lot of blame to go around. But at this point, who is more to blame, Hackett or Russell Wilson? I have my answer, but I'll let you go first before I give my answer here.
If you want to point fingers to that degree, and this goes for anybody out there, I would say if you're really at that point where you're ready to say this guy is like, we're ready to let him go because it's terrible. Why isn't anyone calling for George Payton's head? He's the one who hired him. If Hackett is that terrible and we're ready to let him go 5 games into his head coaching career, why is no one saying George Hackett is a terrible GM for hiring him? So, and my point here is I think he shares the blame, but nobody's saying that. Look, it's only week 6 for us, like week 5 just ended. We're going to week 6. I don't, people who are saying we need to fire him now. No, guys, no. Yes, he has. If I had to pick between the two, I'd say Hackett, but I think that there's a bigger picture here than what people are talking about.
That was such a non-answer answer.
I think it was a great answer.
It
was a great answer.
We got a couple of answers coming through. Feel free to post your opinion. We got some Hacketts. We got a couple of Wilsons. Here's my thing. Wilson did not have a good game by any stretch of the imagination Thursday. That was really his first bad performance of the year. I mean, he played great against Seattle, and we know how that ended.
Yep.
The other games he didn't play phenomenal, but he had 2 fourth quarter comebacks when they finally let him do his thing. Hey, we need a touchdown. And the dynamic on the offense shifted when he took control. And I think that says something about when they kind of let him just say, hey, we need a touchdown, run your offense, just get a touchdown any way you can. We got touchdowns.
Right.
He didn't have a great game. He had 2 interceptions. One of those interceptions, though, should never even happened.
Agreed.
Because it should have been a run play.
Agreed.
If you look at the last play of overtime, yes, he missed an open receiver. I get it. But why? One,
I know where you're going. One is
why are we lining up in shotgun formation when we have 1 yard to go? It has not worked once this year, and yet we keep going to that. Why not just run the frickin' ball, get the first down, and now we have 4 full shots to get at the end zone? At the very least, if you're going to pass, still line up under center so you can run a legit play action, have him roll out to a side, which is what Wilson does best, right? Which is part of why all of this ties into, I think Hackett has been absolutely atrocious. He's trying to make Russell Wilson into Aaron Rodgers, and he's not that type of quarterback.
I do that.
What makes Wilson successful is rolling out of the pocket, extending plays, and being creative, and he's pigeonholing Wilson to try to be a pocket quarterback that he's not. Absolutely abysmal play calling week to week to week to week. That has not improved one bit across the first 5 weeks of the season, right? We're now over a quarter of the way in the season, and his play calling is just as bad week 5 as it was week 1, and his decision making. And now we're getting to the point too where Broncos lead the NFL in penalties through 5 weeks. Not just leading the NFL in penalties so far, but they're on pace to outdo last year's number 1 team. Number 1 team in penalties last year was Dallas. They had 127. Do you know how many the Broncos are on pace for so far this year? 150. Jeez. So now we have a team that's undisciplined.
Yep.
We have wide receivers dropping balls left and right. There's 10 drops already this season. Terrible play calling. Nobody seems motivated. Nobody seems organized. At some point, it falls on the coach. And yeah, I get your point with Peyton who hired him. Hey, you miss.
Well, yeah. And here's the thing. I'm not sitting here saying like we need to fire Peyton. I'm not, but I'm just thinking, yes, there's a lot of blame that I think people are focusing too much on 2 people. You're spot on. Like, you don't need me to tell you that, but you're completely right. And I don't disagree with any of it, right? But
as usual.
And here's the thing. Wasn't Carolina's coach wasn't a brand new head coach, was he?
No, it's his third year.
So here's the thing, guys. Same thing. Everybody else out there, 3 years. Get him into the third year. If we're in this situation in year 3, we have to have continuity.
No, not in this case.
We have to have continuity.
Here's the thing.
What is that going to do for this team? They spent months learning this playbook. You bring somebody else in and it starts all over from
Absolutely.
scratch.
If the coach is this bad. Now, if he finally starts to show
Might as well
some
get another
improvement.
quarterback then too.
No, because and this is why you don't waste time, because you just spent a crap ton of draft capital on Wilson.
Right.
You just spent a crap ton of money to extend him.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have time to waste anymore. You can't play this little, maybe give him a few years, see how it works out, because we don't have a quarterback anyways. The past few years, look how it worked out with Vance Joseph. We waited it out. That didn't work. We gave Fangio an extra year. That didn't work out. And the only reason why they might have gotten those extra years is because they had the argument, we didn't give them a quarterback to work with. Wilson is a top quarterback. We've spent a ton of our future into this quarterback. We're not going to waste time with this. Maybe he'll sort of figure it out. Hopefully, fingers crossed. He has less than a season now to show some drastic improvements. I'm not saying be a perfect coach by the end of the season, but if he's making the same completely idiotic football 101 mistakes week 17 as he is now, why would we waste another season knowing that this is beyond a schematic issue at this point? This is no longer an offense just trying to get used to a new playbook, trying to get used to a new coach.
Right.
This is a coach who, in my opinion, has already lost it. Players are frustrated. They're disorganized. Nothing is working out. And he's, again, basic mistakes. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're not talking about, going for it when he shouldn't or what. We're talking about 101, and he can't figure that out. So, no, we're not going to fire him in the middle of the season, because the other thing that he messed up on is he didn't give himself a staff of veteran experience. No one on the staff is experienced, and that's another thing he screwed up, by the way, is he didn't even set himself up for success. I disagree with, So, we're not going to get rid of him in the middle of the season, because who the heck is going to take over? But if he is still this bad come week 17, no, he's a one-and-done coach, and I have zero issues with that, because we have a top quarterback now, and at this point, we're done wasting time. We are done doing this. Maybe it'll eventually work out, because we don't have that time anymore. Peyton has basically gone all in on Wilson, saying our championship window is opening, and that time is limited. Right. It is not, we don't even have a chance at a playoff or Super Bowl appearance next season, so who cares if we have this bad coach again? It is, we need things figured out right now. And so, in my opinion, if Hackett can't figure the freaking basics out as a coach, he's gone.
It'll be interesting to see how aggressive Peyton is. I mean, my thought process is just the way you see things in the NFL. As long as we win a minimum of 7 games this year, Hackett's back next year. I think that's the cutoff. If you go 7-9, you come back.
I think it's be above 500.
I think if it's 7-9, he comes back.
I think if
no matter what we think. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. And you're right. Here's the thing. I don't think we're going to see any real change until after the bye week,
which would be.
I think that's going to be a real big. That first game after the bye week against the Tennessee Titans on the road. If we come back and we're doing the same exact crap that we have been in the first 5 weeks so far, this staff is in big time trouble.
And so these 2 points here, and Daniel, we'll go ahead and address this comment when you address it to me. Again, After Dark is my show, so
I'm just here.
We will absolutely address this question if you reword it.
I think he does that just to bug you.
He might, but that's okay. No hard feelings. Don't get me wrong. But once you say, "Hey Jay," and then you can copy and paste. We'll
not
get
hey
there.
Guys.
But here's the thing. Yeah, I agree. We have a mini bye right now, right? We basically have especially because we don't play again until Monday night, right? So we got an extra day built in. Yeah. If I am Hackett, I am on the phone because Wilson went up to LA for a procedure injection. So they might not be in the same state right now, but I'm at least on the phone with Russell Wilson every single day saying, scrap my playbook. It's not working. What worked for you in Seattle? What are you comfortable running? What are you seeing? How do we fix this? And I'm talking to Wilson, and I'm turning it to Wilson. I'm saying, I'll help you call plays, sure, still. But this is your offense now, because what I'm doing has not worked. If anything, it's gotten worse week to week.
Well, teams figure you out.
Oh, and that's
right.
What it is. And that's part of the issue is Hackett is so freaking predictable.
And it's a very boring offense.
It's a boring offense. And again, we line up in the shotgun formation. Do you know which team runs the least in the shotgun formation? The Broncos. So,
hey, guess what? It's pass play.
So, when we line up in the shotgun formation on 4th and 1, defense goes, oh, we don't even have to respect the run on this one, right? No, I agree. Use this bye, take the time, get with Wilson and say, hey, your offense now. I'm here to support you because what I'm doing 5 weeks is not working, and we are very quickly going down a wrong path in this very tough AFC West division here. Hey, easy. We're not going to be that bad. If we are drafting first in the NFL in 3 to 4 seasons, we've gone terribly awry. So,
for a team that's never had the number 1 overall pick, I don't want to be there.
Yeah. Okay, here's a positive. I'll give you this. Browning did look great. He was absolutely phenomenal. He looked like a young Von Miller at times out there, timing the snap really well, making things happen, getting to the ball, right, getting to the quarterback. He played outstanding.
His pass rush, highest graded Bronco player in the pass rush. Overall defense was number 4. His run defense maybe needs to be a little bit, stronger, but man, when you're looking at a pass rush like that for a guy who moved over to outside linebacker like that, that says a lot. So look, if Hackett's done anything good, we can definitely look at that and say, hey, he saw something there that nobody else was really seeing, and is making it work there. So
I'm giving credit to our defense coordinator.
Okay.
On that
one. You know what?
Okay. Right now, and keep in mind,
that's actually,
and you know what?
Fair.
Keep in mind too, for our new viewers especially, I think I was the last one in our group last year that was still somewhat defending Fangio, and saying it's on the players. And so for me to already be saying I'm done with Hackett, not done. I'm not done with Hackett. I am getting very close to being done with Hackett. He still has time to improve. He still has time to show he's willing to adjust. But my goodness, when you have to hire an additional coach just to help you get off the playing time, you're struggling in a way that no NFL coach should ever begin to struggle. That's where we're at right now.
Game 1.
Funny. Good joke.
No. Not even touching that one. And no. You don't have Rodgers on your fantasy team, do you? Because let me tell you what, he's screwed me over every week, and he wouldn't be doing much better with the Broncos. Anyway.
All right. So again, I think we have to have a winning season, or at least showing that he is improving drastically as a head coach. Because right now we have the worst head coach in the NFL, and he's cost us 2 games. He cost us the Seattle game with his insane decision and terrible clock management and taking 35 of the 40 seconds to get a play called in. And I would say he cost us last game. Run the freaking ball. 3rd and 4, end of the game.
I have no argument.
And so we could be 4-1 right now. And you can say there's some player mistakes along the way too, but we could be 4-1 if we had a coach who had read your little fancy football book on how to play football.
Right.
And we would be 4-1. So
I learned to not go and shotgun on 4th and 1.
Well, at least there's something. And again, I agree. People were talking about, he's frustrated with Wilson, and I'm sure to a degree there is, because there were a couple times throughout the game too where he was open deep and didn't get the ball thrown his way. I think part of that was due to Wilson's shoulder injury, where he doesn't trust the deep ball right now. But I agree. I think the fact that you're already seeing this much frustration within the team, and again, with how undisciplined they are, how many freaking false starts have we had? I don't even want to look it up. I mean, false starts, delay of games. I mean, just and it's not like this team was bad in penalties last year. They were one of the best teams, and we have a lot of the same core guys on our starting lineup right now. So what's changed? And I think with the change, the leadership, discipline, management, the standard is so low. I think Hackett is so focused on being a player's coach that he's not holding anyone accountable.
As Fangio.
Right. I mean, look at Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
We all hate him. He might be the devil. Not sure, but he might be.
He might be.
But he's one of the best coaches in the game, right?
Yeah.
How short of a leash does he give his players on making stupid mistakes?
Oh,
I still remember. I think it was 20. It was 24.
One mistake.
I think it was 2014. It was the game where we were at Patriots. We got up super early. We ended up losing. But I still remember one of the early turnovers. We punted it. Their guy muffed it. We got the ball back. Do you know who was no longer a Patriot the next morning?
That guy.
He was cut. And I'm not saying you have to be that drastic with every single drop pass or whatever, but I think all the mistakes that have so quickly added up are showing there's no standard, there's no accountability from the coach.
You can say they're just standard. You can do the upset parent thing, but if there's no, what are the consequences for these penalties for this poor play? There are none.
Here's the thing, James. On Orange Weekly After Dark, we do run a team, at least for this hour, whether it gets to Peyton or not.
Sometimes they listen in.
I think so. So during this hour, I do run the team. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Okay, so another one, no preseason because we did not want anybody to get hurt in 5 games in. And I called it. I'm sorry. I told you all.
I have a couple questions with this. You're right. I'm not saying I'm not going to go down that path or anything like that. I'm just. I don't even know how to ask this. Like, is this really directly tied towards the players not playing preseason? Because, the fact that the last 2 weeks, weeks 4 and 5, would have been the end of preseason anyway. We'd be in the regular season had those guys played, and we're still dropping like flies. So at what point, is it going to be the end of the season and be like, oh, we should have played them a little bit in preseason?
No, but I think we're still within that. I think we're still within that window.
Okay.
Right now, Broncos have a ton of injuries. Lead league in IR. There's a chunk of it that I strongly believe was they didn't put in appropriate work during preseason. And keep in mind too, it wasn't just preseason games. We're talking during practices.
Right.
I mean, very low contact practices, no 7v7. I mean, and so it's going to take
hard day, easy day, hard day, easy
right.
Day,
and
easy
so
day,
it's going to take even longer than just your normal preseason 4 weeks for that window to fully adjust for these athletes that are now going 100%. Right. So I think we're still within that one. So I do think a very large chunk of the soft tissue, the strains, partially the ACLs, I think those can definitely be attributed to preseason.
Sure.
So you have a chunk that is just contact football, right? Bowles breaking his leg. That's not a preseason.
That's
issue,
just going to happen.
right?
It sucks.
And then there's part of it too where it's just football, right? Mm-hmm. Injuries happen during football.
Oh,
and
sure.
You have these 3 kind of chunks of where injuries are, and it's hard. The easiest ones are the contact ones, like Bowles, right? That's easy to categorize as football is a contact sport. That stuff happens. But no, I do think that, and I said it. I warned you all. I said what I'm afraid of during preseason. What I'm afraid of is we're cutting off our nose to save our face. Mm-hmm. We're not injuring them in preseason. Great. But now look where we are. Right. Again, that's not saying all the injuries are, but yeah, I think we are definitely still within that window where you can go. They did not adequately ramp up during preseason and get their bodies ready and adjusted for 100% of an NFL game level.
Right. Now, let's say the Broncos end up playing 9-8 or better. Hackett comes back. Do you think, and this is a way too early prediction, but do you think Hackett's going to change the way he runs camp? Or is he going to say, no, we're going to do the same thing this time?
Here's the thing. I would like he's shown flash. So again, I think it's stupid, but he hired a coach to help him get the freaking play calls in time. So at that point, he was in a sense saying, I'm willing to say I need help and change things the way I do them. However, again, how many times are we going shotgun on 4th and 1? So he's also showing flashes of just stubborn stupidity, right? So yeah, I would like to think that, he comes back. Regardless, he's going to get another head coaching job at some point in his career, whether it's with us next year or down the road.
Yeah.
So whenever that next offseason head coaching position is, I would hope he's learned to go, okay, my way did not work on any level, from a play calling level, from a getting guys mentally level to getting the physically ready level. We cannot do this the same way again.
Right.
However, I don't know, because again, we're 5 games in the season and our offense is just as bad as it was, if not worse, because he's refusing to change the way he does things. So I don't know. I think it's a coin toss at that point. James, I keep calling Peyton. I keep getting the voicemail. So
we're trying.
I promise you, my genius ideas will get through to Peyton at some point.
Did you write him?
I've tried everything. Oh, okay. I promise you, when the Broncos start winning games, I will gladly take some of the credit for finally getting through to Peyton to get these ideas through to him. All right, he said, guys, I'll give you half credit for this.
Okay, there you go.
I'm still not thrilled, but I'll address your question at least now. Hey guys, if you lose to the Chargers, and we are 2-4, we both already call for Hackett's head and Allen's. So here's the thing: our offensive coordinator is basically useless. He doesn't do anything. I'm sorry.
And it's not just for us guys. It's anytime you have a head coach, like last year with Fangio.
Right.
Okay, our defensive coordinator wasn't a defensive coordinator. Those guys are the quality control experts.
They help run practices.
They help make sure that calls being or plays being called are even. Hey, coach, you ran a run play on first down the last 3 first downs. Maybe we should mix it up this time.
Right.
Which is what I was yelling in the stands last week when the first 3 drives all run plays up the middle on first down, and I'm like, maybe. If we had a quality assurance person, they would be saying, hey, maybe we don't do this 3 times in a row. But anyway, so that's what they're supposed to be doing. So Otten isn't really in charge of anything other than, coordinating practices, making sure, hey, we're doing these drills. Is this what you wanted, Hackett? And get all set up.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I guess I kind of addressed it earlier. He's not going anywhere in the middle of the season. However, yes, personally, my leash is running very short with him. Again, not saying Russell Wilson is not to blame with his mistakes. I'm not saying Gordon and his fumbles, all that stuff. Yes, there's drop passes left and right, but I think the crux of it can all point towards Hackett. So yeah, if I don't start seeing changes here, I'm going to be totally ready to move on from Hackett after the season. Here's the other thing too that I'll address super quick. I hope this puts to bed the entire talk of, we have to hire an offensive minded coach as our head coach because we've had defensive coaches and our offense has been terrible. Head coach is a different skill set. I don't care which side of the ball you come from. Yeah. Do you have the ability to be a head coach? Because we hired this offensive guru here and our offense is miserable. So whatever our next coach hire is, I don't care if it's next year or 20 years from now, that whole narrative of, we have to hire somebody from this side of the ball. That is a totally different skill set and doesn't necessarily translate. You need to hire somebody who is ready for the job, who has that managerial and leadership aspect. Where are we at here? Clayton. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Shifting gears to the bright side again. Yeah. Our defense has been awesome. What are your thoughts on our defense?
Yeah, no. Look, these guys are really stepping up, especially the young players. Caden Stearns. Holy crap. Like, we all had the same reaction when Justin Simmons went down. Oh God, this is going to suck. We haven't really had any issues. Caden Stearns has been balling out. He's been playing really well.
And that's going to make a really tough decision when Simmons comes back.
Yeah.
Do you really limit his snap count? Because he's been phenomenal.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. This is a guy that needs to be out on the field. Because of how well he's playing. So how do you work that with, him and Justin Simmons and all that stuff? To be honest, I'd be surprised if you see Simmons out there in week 6. It's the Chargers, but the Chargers have been chargering lately, doing what they do. And Hackett's been so
Stupid.
Well, when it comes to bringing people back, very slow. I don't want to say slow. Protective.
Gradually
like
works them in.
we don't want to rush them back, and that's the last game. No. Yeah. So look, it may be one of those things like it's an away game and everything. We give them one more week and then bring him back in the game against the Jets. Just because Kane's been playing
He's been
so well.
balling out.
So we'll see. But look, the defense in general, that's the only reason we've been in these games, and the score hasn't been 39-9, period at the end. So tip of the hat to the defense and the defensive coordinator, because those guys have been doing lights out work.
They've been phenomenal for sure. We are still in third place. The Raiders did lose again tonight. And that does mean if we beat the Chargers, if scenario based, not saying I'm not giving my prediction yet. If we beat the Chargers, we do move to second place. Something to look forward to. Ryan, I will gladly debate you on this one. Here's the thing. Yes, we did fumble twice on the goal line. Both of those came with shotgun formation with 1 yard to go. Again, dumbest thing you can do. You're setting your running back 5 yards even further back to get to the line to gain. And you're putting them in a standstill position to start where the other team's linebackers are getting a head start on you. So bad play calling there. Not just once, but twice. The first time, sure, bad execution. Why would you call that exact same play again the next time around? Stupid. The other thing,
don't never expect it.
Right. The other thing that I'll argue of why he cost us that game is why in the heck did we kick that field goal at the end of the game? 62 yarder at sea level instead of giving.
Or was it 64?
It was
64. It was 64.
So 64 yarder, low percent chance kick regardless. Instead of, again, there's a much higher if you go analytics, much higher percent chance of Russell Wilson converting on that fourth down than getting that kick.
You know the odds on making a 64-yard field goal?
Very small.
2 in 45 times. That's what they said on the radio. I don't know where they came up with that number, but that's
smart people came up with that number.
Somewhere in analytics, they ran the numbers and said, Ryan, you have a 2 out of 45 chance.
Absolutely. And so again, my point is, Ryan, yes, players are not executing as well as they should. I will absolutely concede that point. However, better coaching decisions, we pull out in those games. That's what I'm saying. And so that's why I say that he's cost us those games, is because you have a better coaching decisions. And again, how many delayed games did we have that game?
Like 3 or 4.
And that came from Hackett taking so freaking long to make up his mind to call a play. And he's admitted it multiple times, which I don't know why you would say this out loud. He second guesses himself all the time. That's not my opinion. He has literally said that.
That is a quote.
He has literally said he second guesses himself all the time. And so that's why these plays take so long to get into Russell Wilson. That's why we had so many delayed games. So many issues come from bad coaching right now. And so, yes, the players are not helping themselves on offense at all. Everyone has had poor performances on offense. But again, I think the crux of it goes to the coaching.
The one thing I'll add to this is when one player continuously struggles, it's on that player. When the whole team, like the whole offense, is having problems with discipline, continuity, just overall, how they play the game, that's coaching. That's culture. That's work ethic. That's, consequences. That's coaching at that point. So,
no, I agree. Some all too early draft talk. I love it already, but yes, yes. Just draft O lineman from Texas and Bama. I love it. Just straight up Texas Bama O lineman.
All 7 rounds.
We'll go for it. And here's what I hope you're right. This has been the general move the past couple, really since COVID, since the COVID season. This has been the move, and we are seeing an all-time high rate of injuries, guys, this early in the season. We're already at 27 ACL tears in the NFL, which is on pace for over close to 100 now. Last year was at I'd have to pull up the numbers. It was high 50s or whatever, and that was a record-setting year lately. So I think coaches are going to go, ooh, we overshot. We overshot what we were trying to do. And maybe this is just the hopeful medical side of me. I'm hoping that these coaches will look at the injury data that the medical staff, I'm sure, is providing them and going, you can't go this far into the direction of protecting your starters during preseason, because then you lose them during the actual season. So that has been the trend for sure. I'm really hoping for the players' sakes that coaches start to reel that back in a little bit.
From the injury and medical standpoint, do you see them moving to an 18-game season anytime soon?
No, absolutely. I think that they had to fight so hard, especially with the Players Association, to make it a 17-game season. I don't see them going 18 anytime soon. I know there's some talk about adding a London division.
Yeah, they've been talking about that for like 15 years.
Right, but it just got rebound. Right.
Yeah.
Goodell just addressed it, saying that they're looking into it. I guarantee you that'll have a major pushback too for all kinds of reasons. So I don't see them going to an 18-game season anytime soon.
Can you imagine having to travel over there multiple times a year?
Yeah, well, yeah, especially from them.
Yeah,
they're traveling. Yeah, that would just be brutal. I hope that you are right, James. I will leave it at that.
Dude, I'm right there with you. I'm hoping too. The way we're sitting right now, it's not pretty. Plenty of time to turn things around. And you're right. Defense is going to be the only reason we have a chance. And the only reason I'm not dead inside and giving up on this season. Offense can turn it around. Man, we're going to be scary good. But that's the problem.
Yeah. And, I don't see this happening either. It's not a bad idea, have the offensive coordinator run the offense. Again, at this point, they need to change something, right? The worst thing that they can do, especially with this mini bye, is try to keep pounding the same system because it's not working out. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and again, some people might make that excuse that it was a Thursday night game that worked early Friday. But at the same time, yeah, it's not a good look. And look, I want to trust George. However, he's been phenomenal. Peyton has been phenomenal. He's been an excellent GM. He's set this team up for success very quickly from what he inherited. That does not mean he cannot make mistakes. Mm-hmm. And I so far through 5 weeks, which is starting to get a decent chunk of a sample size, 5 weeks of the same product, of the same mistakes, of the same issues, of a very disorganized team. I'm ready to say that. I'm ready to call a spade. And I think right now he made a mistake. And that's fine as long as he fixes the mistake in the offseason. If we get to that point, again, if we see improvement, that's one thing. If we continue to see these stupid bonehead mistakes, then Peyton needs to go, hey, I screwed this one up. Let's go back to the drawing board and find a coach that's going to work well with the Russell Wilson type of quarterback offense.
If I'm not an NFL GM, I never will be. But if I were George Payton, this is the time where I would start getting involved. As a GM, you don't want to be in your head coach's business all the time. You want to let them run their team. By this point, during these 11 days the team has off, I'm probably picking up the phone and saying, hey, man, let's talk. What's your plan? What are we doing? We need to make some changes. What changes are you going to make? And not micromanaging, but leading at that point. So
absolutely.
I hope that's what he's doing. I don't know. So
we're about to wrap up, guys. This has been a very quick going show. We got a few more comments. Go ahead and start posting your comments. Let's quickly do a quick announcement, if we will.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have
I bet I could do that for you.
Here we go.
I bet I could do that for you. Hey, guys, the NFL is in full swing at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. We're talking touchdowns, big plays, and even bigger wins. That's right. Wins, Jason. Things the Broncos haven't done, but will start doing. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. Check this out, everyone. In addition to the usual bets, everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. All the matchups that are going on. Honestly, I haven't looked at this upcoming week's matchups. But when you're looking at, teams that are struggling like the Chargers with the Broncos that are ready to make a comeback, especially after the time they've had off, might be a game you're willing to throw down a little bit of money on and use a stepped up same game parlay feature to increase your winnings, right? To make things even sweeter, you can throw down on the stepped up same game parlays once per game day all season long. Here's how you get in on this, everyone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code TPPN to get $200 in free bets if your team wins when you place a $5 bet on any football game. Again, that's code TPPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for details.
That was fun. It's a nice little journey you took us on.
It was.
That was good.
What just happened?
All All right, guys, we're going to start wrapping up. Start posting your final comments. Ryan, I see your next one. I'll get to it in a second. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Lining up under center, right? Power eye. Especially when, and here's what's the other frustrating thing. We were averaging over it was about 5 yards per carry. We can pull it up if we want
now
to.
I'm curious.
We were averaging close to 5 yards per carry.
Yeah, 4.5.
4.5. Yep. So 4.5 yards per carry on average. I'm no mathematician, but I'm pretty sure 4.5 is larger than 1.
I don't have my Abby cap.
Yeah, there we go. We needed 1 yard. Line up under center. The run game was working. They were tired. Their defense was tired. End of the game. Yeah, you can absolutely get that push to get that 1 yard. And here's the thing, right? I don't know. I'm not in the headset. I'm not in that communication. Keep in mind that, no, at this point, I really don't think that Hackett has given Wilson the full green light every single play to change the call. This isn't a Manning situation where Manning had full go to change any play he ever wanted to. They haven't, again, that they are not on the same page right now. And you can argue who's in the more right or wrong or whatever as far as the play calling, but Russell Wilson and Hackett are not anywhere close to the same page as far as how this offense should be run right now. So he might not have it might have been one of those things where Hackett said, we are running this play, period.
Yeah.
You know, or these are your two reads. These are the two options that you have, and that's it.
There might also be an aspect of, and this is just, from me knowing Russ, I call him Russ, as well as I do. We're like super close. But really, like, just watching him and seeing the type of person he is, I wonder how much of it is he's the new guy and the leader of the team, and everyone, we're trying to get everybody to buy into the system, and he doesn't want to stand up there and say, hey, coach, your system is stupid. I'm going to do things my way, and pretty much throw him under the bus in front of the whole team. There's a balance there. Now, is it time for him to start stepping up and saying, hey, that's not going to work. I'm not lining up in shotgun on 4th and 1 again. That's stupid. Okay. But then still supporting the coach at the same time. So, man, it's kind of tough for us because you're wanting to follow the coach, but the coach is telling you to be something that you're not. And so where do you draw that line? It's
tough. Yeah, it's definitely multifactorial. And what I'll say, we got 2 more comments right now to get to. If you want to post your final thoughts, go ahead. What I will say right now, Ryan, appreciate the dialogue, appreciate the banter, the debate. This is part of what makes these shows so much fun, is not just people agreeing with my correct opinions, but also giving their own opinion. Kidding, Ryan. No, this is great. We appreciate the back and forth. We appreciate the different thoughts, different perspectives. This is definitely not a one thought mentality type of thing we got here. Why don't we run through the programs that they can catch on an average week?
Yeah. So, hey, everyone, we have a ton of stuff coming up for you this week, starting obviously tonight with Orange Weekly After Dark. And you can see the list there. Tuesday night is the big one, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Make sure you're there for that. Game day, we have a ton of content. So if you're looking for something to do before the game or during halftime, make sure you check out our shows. Don't listen to the announcers because they don't know what they're talking about anyway. And we're more fun. Better looking too.
Well, half of us right now.
But yeah, so hey guys, tons of stuff. If you listen to podcasts, make sure you check out the Orange Weekly podcast on all of your, wherever you listen to your podcasts, we're there. So, but glad to be here. We're going to keep doing it no matter what the Broncos do. This is year 7 for us. We're going to do another 7 at the very least. So
I like the sound of that.
Cool.
Yeah. So again, Ryan, if you are still with us, we definitely appreciate the discussion, the different perspectives. As much as I've been disagreeing with you tonight, I do appreciate the thought out responses and the debate and dialogue. So by no means do I think any less of you. I only think less of people when your name's Kevin and you disagree with me. Outside of that, Ryan's totally fine. Well, great, because I think even less of you now.
It's like a vicious cycle, which I never win.
Yeah, pretty much. You think you'd be used to it by now. But here we are. Again, too many delayed game penalties. Again, I think that could throw us back to the coaching situation more than anything. Again, I think this was, insurance. He's finally ready to be game available, but not necessarily game ready, if that kind of makes sense. So if there was a situation where we needed another position player right there, we have him in our back pocket, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's ready for the large reps if not needed.
I think he is now.
Hopefully.
Well, with the Bulls out.
Yeah. So hopefully.
He better be, because now if we needed him before, we definitely need him now.
And to answer this is our last one that we got tonight, guys. So, yeah, I expect to see Latavius Murray. We did not see him because of the very quick turnaround from a London game to a Thursday night game. And I think that's the reason why we did not see him. But, yes, I would absolutely expect him to see in the rotation Monday. I would expect him probably be about running back 2 carry load. I still expect to see Gordon see the majority, and I think Boone will go back to his his special teams and his occasional play there. So yes, I do expect to see him. He looked solid with the Saints. The Saints even offered him a full-time 53-man roster position to stay with them. But hey, he chose the Broncos, which I have my own thoughts. I think he saw there was more chance for him here. With Kamara getting healthy. And Ingram being the number 2 there. I think that he saw the writing on the wall that he was never going to see the ball on the 53-man roster with Kamara healthy, and he saw that this was a chance for him to get some touches, which I have zero qualms about. I think it's going to work out great for us as running back too, and some exciting stuff. So with all that said, guys, be sure to tune into the rest of the week for all the content we've got coming at you. Again, our next game isn't until Monday night against the Chargers, and it is shaping up to be a very I guess we're kind of getting closer to midseason, but I think
it's getting there.
It's late early season type situation. Any last thoughts?
No. Hey guys, just appreciate everybody tuning in, and of course, like Jason said, we do this stuff for you. So as long as you keep coming back and watching, we'll keep putting on the shows. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. Hopefully Hackett figures this crap out, and hopefully our offense starts executing a little bit better to support our defense. Otherwise, as we gear up for another primetime game for the Broncos, we'll finish tonight off with a usual go Broncos. Take care, everyone. Do what I like, yeah, do what I like, yeah, do what I like. Sipping goose, if it's right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.